Hello students, welcome to our online platform. Myself Engineer PP sir, your physics mentor. Students, in today's lecture we are going to discuss about electromagnetic induction. So in previous lecture we discussed about some basic concepts of electromagnetic induction and some pattern of questions based on that. So let us discuss two more pattern of questions. Let us say a copper rod PQ is drawn out normally through the magnetic field B. So this is PQ, a copper rod is given to us which is drawn perpendicular to this magnetic field. Then we are given these four options here: equal potential on both P and Q, equal potential at P will be greater. So see, in this case we can find out direction of induced EMF with the help of Fleming's right hand rule. Fleming's right hand rule. So according to Fleming's right hand rule, stretch thumb, index finger and middle finger of right hand in such a way that they are mutually perpendicular. Then if we consider index finger in direction of magnetic field, thumb in the direction of motion, then this middle finger will represent direction of induced current or EMF. So by taking its direction, we can say that this is magnetic field, this thumb is representing motion in upward direction, then it will be in inward direction. So we can say that in this condition potential at point B, so potential is in inward direction, so we can say that induced current in rod is from Q to P. Induced current is from Q to P. It means we can say that point Q is at low potential and point P is at higher potential. Similarly, in next pattern of question, an electric potential difference will be induced between the ends of the conductor shown in figure when conductor moves in direction. So in this case, conductor, we are given three different positions L, Q, P, and one is perpendicular to this plane M. So in this case, we have to show that induced EMF will be there if this conductor is moving. So see, magnetic field is in direction from L to Q, current is flowing in direction P, then magnetic induced EMF will be in direction of M, like it will move towards M. So when conductor move either in the direction P, Q or L, it will not cut. So if it is move in direction of P, Q and L, then it will not cut magnetic field lines. It will cut magnetic field lines only in case when it travels along the direction capital M. Now see our next topic, motional EMI. It means when our conductor is in motion, then what will be induced EMF and induced current. So let us say here we are given a rod of length L which moves or which rotates about a fixed point, in a path with an angular velocity omega. So in this case, induced EMF is given by E is equal to half B omega L square. So here L is length of this rod, B is this uniform magnetic field, and omega is angular frequency by which it is rotating. We can also calculate this term in terms of velocity, or we can say in terms of frequency. So omega is equal to 2 pi upon T, or we can say omega is equal to 2 pi nu. So we can use this relation also in terms of frequency and in terms of time period. Similarly, now see, if above metallic rod, rotated about its axis of rotation, then induced potential difference between any pair of identical located points of rod is always zero. It means whenever we talk about rotation of this rod about a fixed point, then potential difference between any two pair of identical located points is always zero. So it is clear part QP and part OP and part OQ are identical. So in this case, let us say that this part OP and this part OQ both are identical. So potential difference is zero. It means induced potential difference will be zero. Now see, if we talk about a cycle wheel, let us say here a wheel is given which is rotating in uniform magnetic field with an angular frequency omega. In this case, let us say again that its radius is r, or we can say length of each spoke is l. Then in this case also it is E is equal to half b omega l square. So again, omega is angular frequency, or we can say angular velocity. Here magnetic field sometimes depends on plane of motion of wheel. If wheel rotates in horizontal plane, then magnetic field will be equal to vertical component of Earth's magnetic field. Hence, then B is equal to BH. So we can see, if wheel is rotating in vertical plane, then magnetic field will be BV, and if it rotates in horizontal plane, then it will be B is equal to BH. Now see, next is Faraday copper disc generator. So here, during rotational motion of disc, it cuts away magnetic field lines. So if it cut away magnetic field lines, then it will produce induced EMF and induced current. So let us say this is a disc of radius r, which is being rotated by an angular velocity omega in uniform magnetic field B. Then in this case, induced EMF will be E is equal to half b omega r square. Here r is the radius of this disc. So if this disc rotates in uniform magnetic field with an angular velocity omega, then its induced EMF will be E is equal to half b omega r square. If a galvanometer is connected between two peripheral points or diametrically opposite ends, its reading will be 0. So if we talk about any two diametrically opposite points, then due to similar potential on these points, potential difference will be 0, hence there is no current flow. It means galvanometer show 0 deflection. Now see, semicircular conducting loop. Semicircular conducting loop. So now we are given a semicircular conducting loop. So here, for the given figure, a semicircular conducting loop ACD of radius r with center at O, the plane of loop being in the plane of paper. The loop is in the plane of paper. The loop is now made to rotate with a constant angular velocity omega. So now see, we are given this semicircular loop which is being rotated in uniform magnetic field with omega. Then induced EMF is E is equal to half b omega r square. E is equal to half b omega r square. So it can be calculated. Let us say that it is sweeping area half r into small r theta, which is half r square omega t. If we talk about change in area, or we can say rate of change of area, then it is omega r square upon 2. So E is equal to d phi upon dt, and we can directly say that this induced EMF is half b omega small r square. If we talk about induced current in this semicircular loop, then induced current will be b omega r square upon 2r, where capital R is resistance of this loop. Similarly, periodic EMI. So we have seen three types of EMIs, three types of electromagnetic induction. One is static, another one is motional, and this one is periodic. So in periodic EMI, we consider that a rectangular coil having n turns, which is placed initially in magnetic field such that magnetic field is perpendicular to its plane. So this is the direction of magnetic field and its plane. Here omega is angular speed, nu is frequency of rotation, r is resistance of coil. For uniform rotational motion with omega, the flux linked with coil at any time t. So in this case, phi will be equal to NBA cos omega t. Theta can be made equal to omega t. Omega is angular frequency, t is time, and number of turns, b magnetic field, and a area of this rectangular coil. So this is the flux. Now see, if we have to calculate induced EMF, then induced EMF can be calculated by using the relation E is equal to minus d phi upon dt. So in this case, induced EMF will be E is equal to NBA omega sin omega t. E is equal to NBA omega sin omega t. If we have to calculate maximum flux induced, maximum induced EMF, then we can say we can compare this equation by E is equal to E naught sine omega t. So maximum induced EMF is equal to NBA omega. NBA omega. This is the value of maximum induced EMF. Similarly, if we have to calculate induced current, then induced current is I is equal to E upon R. I is equal to E upon R. So we can say that it is NBA omega upon R sine omega t. So again, we can replace this value as I naught. So I naught is maximum value of induced current. So we can say that this equation is now equal to I naught sine omega t, and here I naught is equal to NBA omega upon R, or we can say E upon R. So this is the value of maximum induced current. For rotating coil, induced EMF and linked flux keep a phase difference of pi by 2. So we can say that if we talk about flux, so we have seen flux is phi is equal to NBA cos omega t. So see, in flux and induced EMF, phase difference is of pi by 2. In sin omega t and cos omega t, there is a phase difference of pi by 2. So we can say that there is a phase difference of pi by 2. Similarly, if we are asked phase difference in linked flux and induced current, then here induced current is also in terms of sin omega t and linked flux are in terms of cos omega t. So again, in linked flux and induced current, there will be a phase difference of pi by 2 radian again. But if we have to calculate phase difference in induced EMF, phase difference in induced EMF and induced current, then in induced EMF and induced current there is no phase difference because both are sin omega t. It means both are in similar phase, so there is no phase difference. Frequency of induced any parameter is equal to frequency of rotation of coil. It means and if we talk about any parameter, either it is induced current or induced EMF, so in each case frequency is similar to frequency of rotation of the coil. Both EMF and current changes their value with respect to time according to sine function. Hence they called as sinusoidal induced quantities. So we can clearly see here current and EMF both are periodic functions, or we can say both are sine functions. So we can say that these are sinusoidal induced quantities. Now let us talk about some special cases. So what are these special cases? Let us discuss them one by one. See, a rectangular coil rotates at a constant speed about one of its sides AB. Let us say a rectangular coil rotates at a constant speed about one of its sides AB. The side AB is parallel to a long straight current carrying conductor. So let us say this side AB is parallel to this long and straight current carrying conductor. So in this case, the current carrying conductor is in the plane of phase and magnetic field due to it at coil is perpendicular to the plane of paper. So let us see current is flowing in this direction. So here magnetic field is in the plane of paper and it is vertically outwards. So the EMF will be maximum when the coil is perpendicular to the plane of conductor. So in this case, induced EMF will be maximum when this coil is perpendicular to the plane of conductor. Second case, a stiff wire bent into a semicircle. Let us say a stiff wire is bent into form of a semicircle of radius r, which is rotated at a frequency nu in uniform magnetic field. If resistance of entire circuit is r, let us say this is a stiff wire which is being bent in form of a semicircle and it is connected by a galvanometer. So in this case, we are considering that resistance of this circuit is capital R, then current amplitude will be given as BA omega upon R. So we have clearly seen from here that E naught is equal to NBA omega, so I naught is equal to NBA omega upon R. But here a single stiff wire is bent in form of circular form, so number of turn is 1. So we can say that I naught I naught is equal to B A omega upon R. Here A is pi R square, omega is 2 pi nu. It is in form of semicircle, so its area will be half, means pi R square by 2. So we can clearly say that B area is pi R square by 2. This is R and omega is 2 pi nu. So 2 is cancelled out and it is B pi square R square nu upon R. So this is the value of maximum induced current in this semicircle wire. Now let us discuss the pattern of question here. A metal conductor of length 1 meter rotates vertically about one of its ends. So we are given that a metal conductor is of length m 1 meter which rotates vertically about one of its ends at angular velocity 5 radian per second. So angular velocity is 5 radian per second. If the horizontal component of Earth's magnetic field is 0.2 into 10 to the power minus 4 Tesla, then the EMF developed between two ends of conductor. So here we have to calculate induced EMF and we are given omega as 5 radian per second, length as 1 meter and horizontal component of Earth's magnetic field as 0.2 into 10 to the power minus 4 Tesla. So we have to calculate induced EMF. So induced EMF is E is equal to half B omega L square. So here magnetic field is horizontal component of Earth's magnetic field. So it is half BH omega L square. So simply we have to make its calculation. It is 0.2 into 10 to the power minus 4. Omega is given as 5 and L is given as 1. So 1 square. So its value is 0.1, 0.1 into 5, 0.5, 0.5 into 10 to the power minus 4, or we can say 50 microvolt. 50 microvolt. So our option B is correct here. 50 microvolt. Similarly, next question. So a rectangular coil of 300 tons. A rectangular coil of 300 tons has an average area of 25 centimeter into 10 centimeter. So here we are given that a rectangular coil of 300 tons has an average area of 25 centimeter into 10 centimeter. The coil rotates with a speed of 50 CPS. 50 CPS means 50 cycles per second in a uniform magnetic field of strength 4 into 10 to the power minus 2 Tesla about an axis perpendicular to the field. The peak value of induced EMF. So here we have to calculate peak value of induced EMF. So due to rotation of this rectangular coil, we know that peak value of induced EMF is E is equal to NB A omega. So here we are given area, we are given cycle per second, means we are given omega. So cycle per second F. This is the frequency. So it is nu. So you can calculate omega by using the formula 2 pi nu. Magnetic field is given. There are no number of turns. It means N is given as 1. N is given as 300 turns. 300 turns are given. It means value of N is also given to us. So we can use this formula here. NBA omega is 2 pi nu. So simply place all the values in this formula and we can calculate maximum value or peak value of induced EMF. So this is the general concept of pattern of questions based on rotational motion, rotational EMI and periodic EMI. So students, in next lecture we will discuss about induction, like in self induction and mutual induction, and pattern of questions based on that. So thank you for watching today's video. That's it for today. We will meet in next video with our remaining topic of electromagnetic induction. Thank you.